Hi, I'm Loryan Strant / Wade Wilson / Deadpool, and I'm joined as always with.
Alistair Peterson. I'm not Deadpool. I didn't even know that was his name in the movie.
And welcome to another episode of 365 Unplugged. So today we've got two amazing topics to choose from. Mine is animated GIFs in Yammer, and yours is?
Animated GIFs in Teams.
Oh, you can't see my facial expressions at all. All right, let's go. Instead of doing our asynchronous paper, rock, scissors, let's do a coin toss. I'll go with heads.
Got a coin? You'll go with heads. All right, let's do this. Okay. And it is heads.
Fantastic. Animated GIFs in Yammer. So, what really grinds my gears? The reason why I want to talk about animated GIFs in Yammer is you can't turn them off. Like, you cannot turn them off on a group level. You can't turn them off on a tenant level. So what this means is, regardless, whatever you want or not, you are stuck with a potential level of unprofessionalism in the workplace like this. And there's nothing you can do to avoid it. That's right, because what it means is the CEO can put out, here's how we're tracking, here's our financial results, and people can put in animated GIFs as a response. So it's not just about the professionalism, it's also you can't search animated GIFs for discussions. I have to search through all these moving pictures I can't actually see. Am I alone in this? When I actually raised issues with it, I had a bunch of, let's call them Yammerati kind of, I guess, shouting me down about it. But what do you think, Al?
Well, for starters, I'd like to take a step back and say professionalism and workplace etiquette, right? I mean, you've been a great, not proponent, I forget the word, but you've been talking a lot about workplace etiquette, email etiquette. You voiced your opinions quite strongly about that. For me, any animation of sorts that's not actually created by the organization is you either trying to put a laxed attitude to the conversation that you're having. But what is the purpose of animated GIFs? I'm not on Facebook. I'm not doing social stuff. I don't have meme generators sitting somewhere. Why is there a place for animated GIFs in the workforce? I mean, that would be my big question, really.
I think there is. It breaks up the conversation, adds a bit of levity. I personally actually love animated GIFs, and I actually use them quite a lot in responses, but in the right place. So because I know, as you said, I do a lot of writing and express a lot of opinions about etiquette in the workplace. So for me, yes, animated GIFs, certainly have a place, but they have a time and a place. My beef with Yammer not being able to turn off animated GIFs is that you can't set the tone for the corporate communication channels. And, to your topic of animated GIFs in Teams, you can do it in Teams. You can turn it off. You can set the moderate level.
Yes.
That's right.
Which is great.
Yeah. So why can't I have this in Yammer? I apologize to the Yammer product managers who I've raised this with before, but I'm sorry, this is still what have we had this feature for 2 years now, I think? Still can't turn it off?
When last have you checked? I haven't looked at
when
it.
I actually was last told by a product manager, it was going to be in a number of quarters. We were going to have that feature, also known as in a few years.
We'll have a look. We'll have to have a look. The jury's out if you can switch it on or off. But as it stands right now, based on Loryan, you can't switch it off. And I still don't know. Yes, I reply in animated GIFs. We all do, right? But there's a time and a place for everything.
That's right. And if you look at, for example, yourself and the way you conduct yourself on social media, is in the personal sphere or within the community, you're the mirror selfie king. That's your kind of persona. Me, I don't have a specific one. But, I also like to do my levity things. But again, that's in the personal sphere. In the workplace social sphere, yes, I'll use GIFs if the conversation is there. But I'm also 40. I've gone through the inappropriate comments in the workplace where I've been told off for that over the years. and I've, matured, and I am at a point where I wouldn't say I'm perfect at it, but generally I know there's a time and a place for certain things. But unfortunately, not everyone's there.
So my issue with the soapbox, right? Because that's effectively what it is. Never mind animated GIFs. I mean, it's just another way. But when you start talking about enterprise social, it's really exactly to what you were saying earlier on about a CEO commenting, or there's an announcement and you got 27,000 animated GIF replies. You're already giving people an opportunity to have this soapbox. And now you're saying they can make fun even more prolifically with animated GIFs. I mean, what are you going to create a policy in the organization that, how do you even create a policy in the organization that manages the use of animated GIFs?
Well, and that's the problem, is if you try to make a policy around the use of animated GIFs or guidance, effectively you're kind of censoring people. In America, you'd be effectively inhibiting the First Amendment rights to free speech. So, this is the challenge, is at least in Teams, we can turn the feature on or off or set the different levels. But one of the things I've seen in a number of different customers is, the usual of X has joined the network, make them feel welcome. And what you get is this stream of responses of like Jimmy Fallon waving hello, somebody else waving hello, somebody throwing confetti in the air. It's like, how is this meaningful? There's actually no content to the response. There's just a moving picture. So there's no meaningfulness behind it. And I think this is the issue, is that, as I said, if the CEO posts potentially so-and-so is leaving us, or we've had a downturn in results, and, we're not going to be able to grow as expected. So what do people will do? Well, they'll post GIFs of, sad things happening, or somebody crying in the rain.
Like something from the Hunger Games with pickaxes and pitch.
Exactly. Or Anchorman with all the news crews fighting each other. But that's the thing, is not everybody gets a time and a place. And I think that, apart from, I guess, censoring people, if I'm an executive and I put a message out there, what I see is a steady stream of animated GIFs, what am I supposed to get from that? What's the intonation that I'm supposed to read from your Jimmy Fallon hello, or somebody being, Britney Spears doing you can't see my facial expression, so that was a useful point.
Didn't even know there was a Britney Spears GIF. You've spent a lot of time.
As I said, I like my GIFs. For example, in a particular Yammer group, there's a scenario where from time to time somebody makes a setting change in their Yammer network, and no longer they can't partake in this external group anymore. So it's just become the case that I'm the first person to respond with an animated GIF of NSYNC going bye 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 or something like that. And now basically, if I haven't done something, somebody actually makes a comment saying, "Where's Loryan with his animated GIF response?" Again, time and a place. So, but yeah, I think that's the issue, is that when you are establishing corporate communications, that I really hope that probably our change managers and community managers can step up and continue this conversation here. Shouldn't they be able to set the tone of the conversation, and by at least tweaking these settings, as opposed to just on?
I suppose you could have a pinned post that says acceptable use policy for this group. And the use of GIFs are permitted, but please understand the context of the conversation when using GIFs. I mean, that would be one way to address abuse when it comes to GIFs, like everything else, like acceptable use policy, and you're not allowed to browse sites that promote hate speech and things like that.
Yeah, and look, we do have acceptable usage policy features in Yammer, where when you connect into the network for the first time, it comes up. But I'm sure, like the iTunes agreement, most people just skim through and click OK.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I think even, agreement aside and etiquette aside, sure, okay, maybe people can actually look at, or maybe people do know when is the right time and place to respond with an animated GIF versus a conversation. But the issue is, even with animated GIFs, the conversation is meaningless. There's nothing to search there. There's no there's no emotion that I can detect from that speech. So if you look at, I'm going to forget the word, it's just great on a timed conversation here. But when you look at those systems that look at the conversation and, you know, raise alerts based on, hey, that was negative speech. How do you get that from a GIF? You can't. There's nothing to
How do you
index from it.
measure? Yeah. How do you measure sentiment analysis from a GIF?
Thank you. Sentiment analysis. That was what I was going for.
You
The
can't,
mask is
right?
obviously making away my
Until you build some integration into cognitive services and then use some ML and AI to suck the GIFs in and go, is that negative based on the commentary? But really,
exactly.
I think what Teams has done around being able to manage the use and also moderate the use is really great. So
yeah,
I tip my hat
hats off
at the Teams people for doing that.
Tip my headset.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the lasting thought is, I guess there's not really a lasting thought other than, you know, Yammer, can we please have this toggle? This switch.
I'd like to challenge all the viewers, all 7 of them, right, to let us know if they've experienced animated GIFs in a derogatory format, or was it used inappropriately. I'd love to hear from our viewers what they think about this. And we might give out a prize for the answer we like the most.
Yeah, I think that's actually a good idea. And even not just the derogatory aspect, but probably also the meaningfulness. You know, how do you actually have a conversation with GIFs that is actually meaningful to somebody else?
Yeah.
So yeah, let's have that conversation. And I'm sure you've got a box of swag. I know I certainly do. I've got some Yammer swag here I can give away. I've got some Teams swag I can give away. I can give away
orange t-shirts.
I'm not giving away this Deadpool mask though.
Is that a mask, or is that the make your appearance look better button inside of the Zoom app?
Shh, we're not using Zoom. No, this is a mask.
Oh, that's an actual mask. It's not making you look.
I have a full outfit was given to me for my 40th birthday.
Wow, I don't even, I'm going to have sleepless nights thinking about you in a GIMP suit. A very tight one.
It's not a GIMP suit, it's a Deadpool suit.
Okay, a body hugging.
Next year. I'll wear it to Ignite next year. That's the challenge. I've got to lose enough weight to fit into it.
Good.
I'll wear it to Ignite.
Okay. Help us all. All right, is that it?
Let's wrap it up.
Okay.
Thanks as always.
Cheers.
Let's eat some chimichangas.